Bishoy, welcome to the party. I mean, welcome to the show, not the party. It could be a party. We're just talking about that, but welcome to the party, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on, Brett.
So, where are you coming to us from today?
I'm in Tampa, Florida. We were hit, but we are resilient, and we're bouncing back.
Oh, man, what a story. Tell the listeners just a little bit about what you have going on. What's your professional background?
Absolutely, man. Well, I am an attorney. I've been doing it for 12 years, so I'm a real estate attorney. I'm also a real estate investor. I'm also a broker, so I have agents working under me as well. Predominantly, what I focus my day-to-day on is the legal side and building up my law firm, Levacy Legal. I founded it last year after 11 years out. And so what we do is we actually focus on working with investors on the real estate transaction. So if they're buying, selling, if they're forming a partnership or some sort of a fund, a joint venture, we could help with that. If you're a landlord and you need help, with the leases, or you're having issues with your tenant, we could help with that. And then on the financing side, we represent a lot of lenders everywhere from, the big lenders that you've heard of and you drive by every day. So big banks all the way to private lenders. So I know you have a lot of, doctors and such on here, and I know a lot of doctors love to make private loans, and so I work with a lot of those people just to make sure they're protected when they're lending that money, or they're protected when they're investing that money as equity. So anything within that sphere, and then a lot of times those same clients then need help with their business, which we can help with, their estate plan, which we can help with, and litigation, which we have a team for as well. There are a lot of different angles on this. I mean, so many different angles. For me, the one that jumps out the most is the insurance. If you're talking big picture, is the insurance. Like we had the highest insurance premiums in the country, and it wasn't even close. Prior to 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, when the storms hit, those storms caused billions and billions. They still haven't calculated it, how much damage just in the Tampa Bay region where I live. We already had insurance companies leaving the state because it didn't make sense. We have it's called Citizens Insurance. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it's the only insurance company that by law has to be in Florida, and they're losing money. It's subsidized by the state of Florida, and they already were in trouble before these hurricanes hit. So people are not getting paid out, and the premiums are going to skyrocket. And by the way, that was already a major reason for people being unable to afford homes in Florida. So between the flood damage, between the insurance premiums, people in the area are scared about what happens if another storm hits, right? How can they afford to pay it? That's kind of the big picture, and I don't know where that all lands. What I do know is that your insurance, if you're in Florida, is going to be even higher next year, unfortunately. Now, kind of short-term, mid-term stuff, like if you're rebuilding, I posted a video about like the FEMA 50% rule. So if your house got destroyed, you can't just rebuild it if it's over 50% of the value of the property that you're rebuilding. You have to make sure it's up to the current flood codes, which could be very expensive, and your insurance provider doesn't typically cover something like that. So that's important to know. So there's things like there's a lot of different angles to this storm, and it's hitting people in very, putting them in bad spots. And so I'm trying to do the best that I can. And the only other thing I'll say, I don't practice insurance law, but I have a lot of friends who do. The insurance companies are not on your side. And I think most people know that by now, but they are not. It is an adversarial relationship at times like this. They are going to fight and I'll tell you a true story. I had a client, the first check the insurance comes was 5 years ago. First check the insurance offered him was $1,200. He ended up getting $250,000 from them, but he had to go, I don't know if it actually started litigation, or I think they were a week from litigation and then they settled. But that's not that abnormal. So never take the first offer from an insurance company. Always have someone advocating for you, whether it's your own adjuster, whether it's an attorney. And if you need someone in Florida, I absolutely can plug you in with the right people. But just if you've been affected by this stuff, make sure you're getting what you deserve. Don't just take the first settlement that the insurance throws your way, because they're trying to see who's desperate and who needs the money. So that's probably the last thing I'll say on the people that were affected in the sense of insurance claims. Number one, always I say putting real estate, investment real estate in your personal name. Terrible idea. It's very simple. It's very cheap to do. Just don't put it in your name. And I'm going to speak to the audience right now. You are doctors, you are learned doctors, and you have a target on your back. And I wanted to say this, I probably should have led with this in the beginning. So everyone in my family is a doctor. My dad's a pharmacist, my mom's a dentist, my 3 sisters are dentists. One of them is married to a dentist. They're both pediatric. I was the only, I don't even want to call me an idiot or smart guy that decided to go into a different field. I'm not sure. But that wasn't for me. I couldn't do it, but I am surrounded, I'm Egyptian. So everybody I know I grew up with, like 30 people, 29 of us are in doctors, pharmacists, dentists, whatever. So this is like near and dear to me. And I tell you guys this, like, you have a target on your back. You cannot hide. Like 20 years ago, people couldn't maybe find you as easily. Every single thing now is available online. I'm pointing to my computer right now. And, you know, unfortunately, you can't hide it no matter what you do. So take your name, your personal name off real estate. If you're in a certain state like Florida, put it in a land trust. That will prevent you from anybody from seeing you and prevent somebody from suing you for something that, you know, you really didn't do or you really weren't negligent in. Number 1 tip, absolutely. Number 2 tip is, you know, probably I would say not having a good counselor in their corner, right? And so I think when you talk about it, Brett, you made a great point about, like, when you think of attorneys, you get scared. And I'm like, I'm the kind of attorney that's here to help you make money, right? I don't do, like, I'm not going to sue you for malpractice. I'm here to, you got a deal, let's figure out how to maximize profits and limit liability. That's my tagline. So having someone like me in your corner, what it does is, from the very inception of the deal, whether it's an LOI or an actual purchase and sale agreement, we can not only determine where your liability is, but we can also negotiate different points that are going to give you leverage in the situation or help you make more money or save more money at the close or post-closing. And so I think a lot of people sometimes get nervous about paying an attorney, but what you're paying me, you could make 10 times or 50 times over in, you know, one deal, right? If you have, or lose, right? If you have me in your corner. And so, and I don't mean me personally, but a good real estate attorney. And then the other side of that is, think about the connections, right? You need money. I have clients with money. You need contractors. My clients are contractors. You need deal flow. I have syndicators on speed dial, right? So what do you need? Because I'm in the thick of it, and any good real estate attorney really is. So I think those are the two of the top things that I see people do. And then if I had to pick a third mistake that I see all the time, I would say, you know, not vetting people properly and not putting things on paper, kind of hand in hand. Because I get a lot of, again, I have a ton of doctor clients, and they don't do their due diligence. They meet someone says, give me $200,000 and we're going to buy this land and develop it, and you get half and I get half. Cool. Here's the money. I'm so busy, you know, depending on what you do, but like I work 80 hours a week at the hospital, and so I don't really know what you're doing. And then a year later, you're like, hey, didn't I give you 200 grand? What happened? And then, you know, things fall apart, and then you call me, and then I ask for an agreement, and there's no agreement. So it becomes much harder to do anything about it, right? So protect yourself with written agreements, and always vet the person that you're going into business with. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out to an attorney who could do that for you. I literally do this for a living. So I think those are 3 or maybe 4 tips that really could be applicable to a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. The number 1 reason people want to put property in their personal name, besides if they're being lazy or dumb, which that's also a big reason, but if they have an actual reason that's a legitimate reason, it's because they can't get financing outside their personal name, to your point. So I do encounter this quite a bit. You know, the way we overcome that is, you know, there's 2 ways. One, you move it into an LLC post-closing. In that case, you do run the risk of the lender calling the loan due. There's the due on sale clause, you know it. So there's a possibility of that. The workaround, and again, I'm in Florida, so the best state for land trust law. Some states have good land trust laws, some don't. But if you move it into a land trust, there's something called the 𝗘𝗀𝗁𝗁 Act of 1980, and it basically says that the lender cannot call the loan due if you're moving the property into a revocable trust, which the land trust is a revocable trust because that means you can modify it after you create it. So if we get pushback from the lender, we cite the 𝗥𝗲-𝗁 Act of 1980, and we say, look, this is what's happening, and then the lender backs off. So it's kind of a workaround that, you know, I've coached my clients through. I would tell them to be more aggressive. I would tell them to, you know, just fall forward. You know, that's something that I think as attorneys and you know, maybe me, is like, you're always so cautious. I mean, I consider myself a risk taker, actually, believe it or not, in my investment, but like, you're still like super cautious. And I always hear things about people doing things because they're always calling me when people rip them off. So there is that side of it, but like, just fall forward, just buy the property. Don't overthink. Analysis by paralysis is a very real thing. So all those things, just kind of move forward. And, you know, the market, the real estate market, I mean, literally you cannot lose. The only way you can lose is if you sell, or if you sell at the raw, you know, panic sell basically, or if you over leverage yourself. But if you hold on to real estate, in the history of mankind, real estate has over the long term never gone down in value. It's only gone up. And by the way, plug for Tampa, if you are looking to buy in Florida, and the prices have been out of control for the past, I mean, we've been in a bull market for 15 years now. This is the time to buy. Like, I'm so bullish on Florida and I'm so bullish on Tampa Bay, but people are panicking right now. And when people panic, that's when you strike. That's when you buy real estate. And that's what I'm looking at, right? I'm actively looking to buy whatever makes sense for me. And, you know, I will tell you this is my opinion. The next 3 to 6 months is going to be very ugly for the housing market. It's already happening. We already see it. Prices in Florida are down 30% from their peak, 20 to 30%, depending on where you are. They're going to fall even further. Okay. Mortgage rates are back up, right? And so everything is trending in the direction of, and they're saying soft landing. There's no soft landing. People are feeling the pain right now, and it's going to get worse. This is my opinion, but I feel very strongly about it. If you are in the market with dry powder, AKA money in the bank that you're waiting to deploy, this is the time to do it.